Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
I just hope that I did what most people would do. I didn't really look at it as of anything extraordinary. I just, just trying to help people. And
with no regard for their own safety, members of the Underwood, Minnesota high school golf team, coaches and players alike, sprinted toward a burning condo building last night, urging people to get out. Thanks for joining us tonight.
It's a great story. The condo with 7 units is located near a golf course in Lakes Country. It was destroyed. Underwood's principal called us so proud of these folks. He held an assembly today to honor them. Valley News Team's Bradford Eric tells us more about these humble heroes.
One of the kids noticed that the condominium that was right next to us was on fire.
And we just ran door to door, banging on doors.
Trying to get all the people out that were possibly in there, not knowing who was there, if they were inhabited or not.
They're all talking about what happened here last night at this condominium structure that's now simply a burned out pile of rubble. The condominiums were only about 50 yards away from where the Underwood golf team was finishing up practice. Coaches Chuck Ross, Chad Groner, and senior golfer Chad Peterson all took off, banging on doors, kicking in locked ones, and even carrying a woman who couldn't walk to safety. Selflessness hardly describes them.
I think my biggest concern at the time was that, and I'm pretty sure I went to every door, but I was worried that maybe I forgot one.
So I never really thought about what I was doing. You just go and make sure people are safe and know what's going on.
Chad Peterson has been training as a first responder for several months and is planning a future in helping people. He admits he won't forget that drizzly Wednesday practice anytime soon.
It was definitely a more interesting golf practice than I've had in the past.
Chad Groner says it was instinct that carried him to help. He doesn't feel special, just glad he could be there.
People use the word hero a lot, and I don't feel like a hero. You're just trying to help people out.
A school grateful for their heroes, whether the brave feel it or not. In Otter Tail County, Bradford Eric, Valley News Live.
The Otter Tail County Sheriff's Office says that it is wrapping up the investigation into the cause of last night's fire, saying it's a preliminary procedure before determining any criminal charges.
Well, another cloudy day out there today with more rain. Let's head over to Hutch Johnson to see if there's any break from that rain in our forecast. Hutch?
Well, certainly we've seen the widespread nature of the rainfall diminish over the last couple of hours. Stephanie, if you are heading outdoors this evening, though, bring the umbrella. A few drops are still not out of the realm of possibility. Hey, the drought conditions were updated just today, and the drought monitor shows that we continue with a pretty severe drought across much of western and central Minnesota. This is including rainfall through Tuesday of this week. So a couple more rain events have hit the valley since then. By the way, eastern North Dakota has been upgraded to just dry status as opposed to moderate drought. Here's a look at today's rainfall across the valley. 2,900ths in Fargo-Moorhead, 4,400ths in Grand Forks, and a few tenths of an inch across much of northwest Minnesota. Boy, soggy continues tonight. I'll have details on a threat of severe weather as we go through the weekend. Yes, it's that time of the year and a chance for isolated tornadoes in our area. I'll detail all of that in a few moments.
All right, Hutch, thank you. And you can stay up to date on the storm from your smartphone or tablet. You can also get the latest road and weather conditions on our Storm Team app. Just search VNL Weather in the App Store. And the best part is, it's free.
The U.S. Post Office is warning you of bogus emails. Some postal customers are getting spam emails about package delivery or online postal charges. The emails contain a link or an attachment, and when opened, it installs a virus that can steal your computer information. The Better Business Bureau tells people all emails should be looked at with caution.
Once you do, it could be malware, it could be a virus, it could lock up your computer. There's a lot of bad things out there, so really caution is the best approach pretty much always.
Now, if you do have questions, call the USPS or the BBB. We have contact information on our website. Go to valleynewslive.com and search this story.
It's legislation that some say could turn North Dakota into a worldwide economic power. North Dakota's senators are working to ban legislation that was put in place during America's 1970s gas shortages.
It prohibits North Dakota and the other lower 48 states from exporting oil. Valley News Team's Neil Carlson shows us how all this works and how you could benefit.
This process creates fractures in the oil and gas reservoir rock.
Fracking unleashed western North Dakota's vast oil reserves and ignited a multi-billion-dollar industry. However, the oil industry took a tumble after OPEC countries began dumping cheap oil on the market last year. it was good news for consumers in the form of lower gas prices. Now, North Dakota Senators Heitkamp and Hoeven are co-sponsoring a bill that would lift a 40-year ban on exporting North Dakota oil. The senators say it would lower prices at the pump and stimulate the oil industry.
Alaska already has an exemption from the policy. We're hoping that we can lift the ban and basically help our balance of trade, help our allies, help our economy, and help our consumers. It's a win-win-win-win in every direction.
We're working on oil export to make sure that our energy companies can compete in a global market. And it means not only more jobs and economic growth, but more supply of oil and petroleum products in this country means lower prices at the pump for consumers.
And other experts say letting North Dakota export its oil can make it a player in the world oil market with more price control.
We have no place in the world energy market today when we can't export. So would you rather rely on OPEC nations for your oil, or would you rather rely on the United States, who's a stable, friendly ally? I think it's a game changer in the terms of world politics and really the domineering force around being an energy leader versus an energy taker.
And Ness says it adds up to prices at the pump that are much more stable than the big swings we've seen in recent years. Neil Carlson, Valley News Live.
If you'd like more information about this legislation, go to valleynewslive.com and click on this story.
Some parts of town lost power early this morning as an electrical power pole caught fire. It all happened around 5:30 this morning at Main and 17th Street in Fargo. Firefighters said the top of the pole was broken off completely and live wires were hanging low. Xcel Energy says they will have to replace the entire pole.
It's official. If you need a ride, don't want to use a conventional taxi cab, you can go the Uber route. The North Dakota legislature cleared the way for Uber to operate in the state, and today is the first day in its first North Dakota city, and Fargo's own Mayor Tim Mahoney got the first ride. Uber is a smartphone app that connects people with cars willing to give someone a lift. The company bills itself as better, faster, and cheaper than conventional taxi service. And Uber's North Dakota spokesperson says there is also a strong safety factor in using Uber.
It's entirely cashless. So one thing that makes it unsafe for kind of a taxi driver historically is the fact that they would have to carry a stack of cash everywhere they would go. And once you take that away, you actually reduce the chance that that person's going to get robbed.
The state law allowing them to operate here requires drivers be thoroughly screened.
A local 25-year-old using his autism spectrum diagnosis to empower others. His message: college is possible, saying autism doesn't define a person. Zach Zaborny was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome when he was 8. Since then, he's graduated from college, working multiple jobs, and travels the world speaking. Zaborny says being on the autism spectrum, people often say they can't do certain things because of the disability.
My message is to throw all that out the window, tell parents, tell people on the spectrum, tell everybody that no, college is possible. There are ways to be successful, and I'm out there to show people that and prove that, and I am proof that this success is real in that sense because I've gone through it and I've succeeded.
Zaborny says there are tons of opportunities out there for people with autism who are transitioning into adulthood. We have much more about that on our website. Go to valleynewslive.com and then click on the hot button. And Valley News Live is partnering with Sanford to look out for your heart health and what happens during a cardiac catastrophe. You'll get a first-hand look at what it's like to have a heart attack, and we'll take you through that experience from the ambulance ride through treatment in a state-of-the-art cath lab. Tonight on Valley News Live, 10 at 10.
Pay attention to what you're doing when you get behind the wheel. A stern message from a man who knows firsthand what can happen when you don't. Joel Feldman brought his story to Oak Grove today. It's the story about his daughter, Casey. She was just 21 when she was run down while crossing a street. Feldman says the driver wasn't paying attention.
I'm alive and my child is dead. I'm the one with the future. My child does not have a future. And that really hurts. That's never going to change. But I am so optimistic when I talk with you guys. I'm so optimistic when I hear from you. Lots of times I get emails and things about people changing the way I drive.
Since Casey's death about 6 years ago, Feldman has made it his life's mission to talk to young people across the country about the consequences of distracted driving.
A very important message.
Very much so.
Well, later on Valley News Live at 6, getting your child ready to stay safe in the lake or the pool this summer.
And as we close out our work week, we're going to get a break from the rainfall, which, by the way, is catching up to seasonal averages. But there's thunder and lightning for the weekend ahead. I'll have hour-by-hour details next.